Hello there, I'm Minefiend and this is the MMO, The Secret World. Ahead of you there is Little Boo. Now, we've just finished the small quest here, the Revenant, and we're going to go on to something that can be a bit more difficult if you're not careful. I do sort of like complain, let me move that down a little bit, the cursor. I do sort of like complain a little bit about how easy things are at the moment here, but I suppose you do have to remember, or I have to remember, in that really I'm only like up to a point where it would be like the first night's play. Now somebody there is asking if anybody's doing Draugnet. Let's see. Oops, I don't want to change out of that. Oops. We'll find out whether they just need any help with it or what's going on. So to reply to //r. We'll see whether they want it. Okay. Right, now this is something I've not really done before, so let's... Alright. Let's see whether or not this works. I've never done this before, I've never joined with it. Well, I did join with another player once. From for a much more difficult part, very difficult part north of here on Priest Island. Oh, that can be deadly. But I'm hoping it'll go okay. Didn't actually join in a group with them, I sort of like just accompanied them and helped them. You! Sit down. Right. Let's go up here and get this from Andy. I mean, if they need help, they need help, and it's always nice to help if you can. This mission, if you don't know what you're doing, can be dangerous. If you pull too many creatures here, you're going to be in trouble. So let's just speak to Andy and get the mission.
Now the walking dead? I can wrap my head around that. They're dead folk, just walking is all. But those other things? Tall and pale, slimy as maggots. They washed up with the fog. They came and dragged the townsfolk out to sea. Drowned them. Just like my dad with the kittens. He took them out to sea in a garbage bag. Said they were gonna go for a swim. Said they needed the exercise. They never came back. A few years later, neither did my dad. Jeez, I still miss those kittens. The townsfolk, they did come back, dragging what looked like eggs. The big uns, they come out of those eggs, like something from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're littered all over the place and guarded, and I'm thinking to myself, Andy, that's gotta mean something. That's gotta be a clue. Why keep an eye on something if it ain't valuable? That's police work. That's deduction, plain and simple. So I'm thinking, what came first, the maggot or the egg? Obviously the egg, right?
So now we've got to investigate. We've got to investigate what the townspeople are coming back as, and most are coming back as these drowned townies, but some are coming back as Draug, or Draug are coming back with them. It's not entirely sure which yet. Draug are a Norse mythological creature. And they're actually like Norse equivalent of zombies. The Draug here are much more as our person we're joining with. The Draug here are much more along the lines of the Lovecraft story Shadow over Innsmouth. These are more like the Draug that are described in the story. They are. Let's take this one. Up two at once can be dangerous. There we go. Much more dangerous now. So now what we've got to do next is we've got to kill the maulers and destroy the brood pods over this way. These are a bit tougher. Let's see. Over this way. Feels very odd. So we've got two of those. Now, let's head out this way. There's one. Now it changes its focus. It changes its focus between us and them. Let's see, where's the pods? Further out here, I think. There we go. There's some over here. when you do a lot of damage to these creatures, then you can actually where's the brood pods? Over that way. Okay. These things can be a pain. Oh, that's going for them. See if we can draw them off him. There we go. That's okay. Right, there we go. Now he is our target. It's very difficult, sorry, I do apologise. It's very difficult to... That's how many of those we got. Brood pods, we need these over here actually on the sea bank. Have to watch it, otherwise I'm getting my health down a bit. Right, 1 second. He's pulled too many of them, we're in trouble. That nearly went bad quickly. Out of the range. Now he's pulling a lot of them at once, which is not good. But we still haven't hit the brood pods. Yes, we have. Yes, they count. They come out of them. Now we've got to kill the incubators, which are the creatures that are carrying him around. The pods appear to be created from zombies. Zombies come from the sea and collapse on the beach, transforming into pods. Missed him. Those things are fast. Let's see over there. That's another one down. How many more do we have to kill? Another 2. Let's see. We don't want to pull those. There's one. there's that, and let's see, where else is there anything? Ah, there's another one over here. Is he ready? Yep, he's ready. Okay. This is a bit awkward, I'm sorry, I can't really, because we're going through it too fast. I would be doing this much slower if it wasn't the fact that I joined with somebody, but it's an experiment. I would like to read through the through the reels. The incubators are created by the invading Fagro brood witches. That's these. Kill brood witches. These are a bit tougher. Oh, is he pulled? No, he's not pulled. Let's step back a bit and go around. I pulled. Okay, there's that. Right, now let's get to the brood witch, which is there. Nope, that's not good. If you notice, the attacks on the water's coming. Oh, I got killed. I got killed. No, it looks like he died straight after, did he? No. Where's my body? Get to my body. Let's get out there. Oops. He's gone attacking something else. That's the trouble with his shotgun attack, is he can tend to draw everything in. Whew. Right, let's see where we're up to. Right, so we've killed all those now. I hate the fact that I haven't been able to read this out to you, but it says the force is controlling the entire production of the new Draug wallows at the edge of the bay. It's the Fager Lord, so let's go around them. Thread through these monsters. Now we've got a boss battle to deal with, but it won't be that tough. It's not that tough. You can deal with this on your own. He'll be out here somewhere. Unless somebody's recently killed it. There it is. Right, this is going to take some doing. Well, not that much, like I say, you can do this on your own. Get out of its blast range. And we'll take the pipe with us for the moment. It says, I've just received word from R&D that this data is giving us fresh insight. Can I say anything? Just received word from R&D that this data is giving us fresh insight into the Draug behaviour. They appear to have more complex ecology than when we first thought. The reanimated corpses serve as incubators for the Draug pods. The female eggs are implanted through some of the tentacular energy transfer. You've given our research teams a lot to think about. Hopefully in time it will give us an edge to these creatures. Alas, not in the time to save Kingsmouth, but you cannot win every skirmish. This is after all going to be a very long war. Arsonac. So we're going to pick the pipe here because the pipe will be better for us than Thor's hammer, I would imagine. 101, yes. Collect that. Put that into our character sheet straight away. So now we've got a very good weapon. Now I'm really sorry about that. I shouldn't have done it because it means I didn't really get to walk you through the mission the same. And that mission is dangerous. You can get into some serious trouble, as you saw, if you pull too many creatures at once. It is possible to beat that Fager Lord by yourself, though. You don't need to fight with other people. But it was actually a bit of an experiment for me, that. Look at the creature, it's really cool. It went down a bit easier than some of the... Let's take this guy. Well, I say a guy, it's a female. But it's a dry mariner. But basically what happened there was we... worked our way up the food chain of these sea creatures. We started with the basic warriors, the fighters of the group. We then moved on to the egg sacs they were coming from, and from the egg sacs that these were protecting, and from the egg sacs we learnt about see, look at all those egg sacs on the beach there now that weren't there when I wanted them. Oh, wow. And from those egg sacs we learnt about the fact that they were being brought in by incubators, which were the ones that looked like walking egg sacs. And from those we then learnt that they were being created by the tentacles of these brood witches, the women that walk around with all the tentacles sprouting out of them. And then from killing those we found out that they were being controlled by a Fager Lord. That was very interesting to fight with somebody, but not necessarily probably the right thing to do for... Oh, damn. Two of them at once. Only just got past that. And we've got a weapon toolkit which allows us to make weapon toolkits. Why is it asking me to roll for it when I'm not in a group any longer? Can I leave a group? Leave group, there we go, that's it, yeah. Right, okay. like I said, that mission, it was terrifying when I first did it. Because it is tough. As you saw, even then with two of us, you know, partly because unfortunately he was a DPS, so he was drawing a lot of hate, and I had to get in there quick to try and protect him. Those things are not easy to beat. They're quite tough. The level 2 talisman toolkit. Fisherman's friend killed 25 Draug. Now, as I was saying, these what they call here, well, these Fager here, these Draug, these look like the creatures described in H.P. Lovecraft's Shadow over Innsmouth, which is heavy inspiration for this mission. Well, not this mission, this event actually, Kingsmouth Town itself. And Fager is actually the clan of these creatures. You'll find the Fager inhabit the Fletcher Bay, but on the map you'll see there's the King's Straits. Now there's a different clan of them that inhabit there. It's really, really well done. I feel awful. I do feel awful. I feel as though I've let you down in a little bit by doing that mission with the guy, so I couldn't take my time and go through it. But anyway, it helped him out. He probably couldn't have done it by himself. No, I don't know why I'm heading back to... Oh yeah, I do. I want to talk to Andy. Let's talk to Andy and get that out of the way. Because we didn't talk to Andy before. He mentions cats, and he'll have a little bit to say about the poor cats. It had quite an effect on him when his father drowned his kittens. And actually... it comes into the game on Halloween. You can get a special Halloween mission. I think you actually get it from Madame Roger, actually. I think it comes up for her, called the Muling, which is a mission you can only do at Halloween, and that has to do with Andy's drowned kittens. It's one of the nice things about MMOs and things like that, where you get seasonal added content. Why not? Let's just kill off some of these as well while we're at it. It'll all help. But I want to go through his dialogue trees, and then we're done with them. Hey, come back here, you! I didn't mean just one of you on your own. As you can see now, I'm flattening them in one hit half the time, and it's because I've got greater to hits ratings, I've got greater critical ratings, and I'm a lot tougher character than I was. And that's, as I started to say at the beginning of the video, it's part of this. I am only in the very first area of Kingsmouth. I've not even got over to the camps out here, to Edgar's scrapyard and the airport, so the fights are very easy here. It's more or less like, it is in a way first night content. You'd basically get here very, very quickly.
Good to see you.
So let's listen to Andy's dialogues, and let's find out something about him, and then we're done for the day. So Andy, can you tell me anything about yourself?
I wanted to be a police officer since as far back as I can think. I had a lot of time to myself growing up. I watched all the cop shows, again and again. The old shows, when a good cop was always a good cop. When you knew you could trust a badge, right? You knew before the half hour was up, they'd get the guy out of the basement.
Now, he mentions that he watched a lot of old cop shows, and as a point of interest, if you look at the two names of his things, Draugnet is a play on the old cop show Draugnet, and Elm Street Blues. We're on Elm Street here, the blues are the police, but there's also an old TV show called Hill Street Blues about a police station. And so his missions are themed. Can you tell me anything else about yourself, Andy?
So that was my goal, plain and simple. I was single-minded about it. You ask anyone, and they'll say, "Hey, yeah, that Andy, he sure is single-minded."
That Andy sure is single-minded.
Now, I wasn't what you'd call a straight-A student, but I got there. And when Sheriff Bannerman swore me on as deputy, gave me my badge, I'd been up all night ironing this shirt. It was crisper than you'd believe. Well, that day I was just as happy as a clam at high tide.
So he's very much the career policeman, is Andy. He always wanted to be a policeman, dreamed of it, and he's thrilled to have gotten the chance to fulfill it. Can you tell me anything about Kingsmouth Town?
Sure chokes me up seeing Main Street all done up in buntings and so empty. The kids love that Halloween parade, you know? Then they'd all bus on up, bang away for the haunted hayrides, ever since our local amusement park closed down. There were troubles. It was before my time.
Now he mentions there a local amusement park closing down. The local amusement park is in the Savage Coast, and we will have a lot to do with that place, and it's brilliant what they've done with it and how they give it a story and the rationale, and you only get to realise it at the ending of all the quest chains around there, of just what it means, what it is, and why it's there, and it's just brilliant. But that's something for later in the series when we do get all the way over to the Savage Coast.
Still, what town doesn't have a little trouble? With cultists? There was that repeat killer, I wouldn't say serial killer, but he came from the mainland. And that mess with the college kids at the old hunting cabin? Bears, we reckoned.
Quite a couple of allusions there to horror memes specifically. Kids in cabins and the police passing it off as bears that rip them up and ate them.
Jeez, it's all laid out like that. It does sound pretty bad, huh? This right now is definitely the worst we've ever had, though. This is the real storm of the century. If we push on through it, I am not looking forward to taking a shovel to the streets after.
I've just noticed while I'm listening to him actually that I've got that strange glitch you sometimes get where your weapon doubles. Let's try putting it away. There we go. I like this pipe actually. It's a nice bit of a weapon. It does 100 damage, whereas the one we were using did 74, so it's a lot better. Can you tell me anything about the locals in Kingsmouth?
Oh, I knew everyone in Kingsmouth. A safe community isn't a spectator sport. I memorized that one. And Sheriff Bannerman preferred to have me walking the beat, you know, while she handled house calls. That suited me just fine. You know, our folks were a good bunch. They only cause a ruckus when they've had too much of the, you know what.
Anything else about them?
But recently I got talking to Sandy. That guy's pretty philosophical. You wouldn't know it to look at him. I mean, I don't personally have a problem with bikers. I'd like a motorcycle myself.
Sandy he's talking about is Sandy Moose Jensen, who's the guy down here. We'll deal with him shortly too as well.
Anywho, it made me really consider it, you know, whether you really ever knew a person. I told him how in second grade I met Anna Redmond behind the gym every day for 2 months. We would hold hands. I thought I knew her pretty good. She left town all of a sudden one day. Halloween. Jeez. Always Halloween.
Poor Andy. And now you come to his real sob story, the kittens.
Moose says it's best to talk things out. So, here I am, talking. Mom bought the kittens and Dad drowned them. That's the facts of it. I don't like speculating much, that's one step away from guessing. And the sheriff, she taught me never to guess.
I'm sorry to hear about the kittens, Andy. Can you tell me anything more about them?
Mom's version was that Dad loved things too much. Got a bit crazy sometimes. Hugged real hard. Didn't always want to let go. The morning he stuffed them in a bag and took them out to sea, he was full of too much feelings. Didn't know what to do with them. He took them down to Journey's End, out behind the bed and breakfast. It's where the journey ended.
So he took them out to Journey's End, the bed and breakfast, which is down on the main road. We haven't been down there yet, but we will be heading that way at some point.
Jeez. Dad always wore these masks, you know? For the longest time, you figure you know someone. Most of the time, really, we got no idea.
Yeah, quite true. Quite true. People wear masks. Let's have a look at a little bit of the loot. This stuff we've already got. We picked up the anima block rating. I should have used that. Well, that's a heal over time. Again, that's something else I should have used. And that would have helped. Especially against when we got overrun, but you live and learn. Sometimes it was difficult. It was very difficult, that mission, because I was having to move so quickly to keep him safe, and I felt pushed on a little bit because there was somebody else there that I couldn't just stop and read for you. I don't think I'll be doing that again soon. Maybe at some point we'll try and get in on a group going in a dungeon. I'd rather do it with friends though. Much rather do it with a group of friends. So we picked up nothing really, it's just a few toolkits, so we're alright there. And what I'll do there is I'll leave that because we're about nearly the 40-minute mark there. But I'll say thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the mission. If in fact you couldn't follow it very clearly because I couldn't read it to you. But I've been Mindfiend. You guys, as always, have been wonderful. Bye for now. I'll spend these later.